What's up? Good evening. How y'all doing? It's Tuesday, so it's not Monday, which is normally when I do this. The truth is, I just forgot yesterday. I got super busy and I forgot to do it. So Money Monday's coming at you this Tuesday. I had to do it just to keep myself consistent. Part three, making money easy. Like I always tell you guys when we first start off, my wife and I are teaching a four-part finance series. This Sunday is the last Sunday of July, so it's the last one. And again, if you want to show up, Exodus Harvest Church is where it is. Hit me up in a DM. I'll give you the address. We start at we get up. We come up to share and to teach at I think it's 9:30. Anyways, uh, some exciting news. My wife is trading full time. Some of you know that she trades, some of you don't, but she's trading full time now. That's all she does. And of course, she has her class where she's teaching people how to trade, and her students are trading and learning and making money. My 21-year-old is in her class, and on average, she makes about $100 a day. He's only been learning for about, I think it's been about 3 months now, maybe 3 months. Anyways, do something to change. Like, I always say retirement is coming for everybody, and you got to be ready for what's going down. I wanted to make sure this is someone right. But anyhow, let's go. We talked last week about being a critical thinker as you navigate financial problems, being able to evaluate and weigh options, dealing with the truth, the probability of outcomes and things of that nature. Being a creative problem solver is one of the things that I guess I kind of pride myself on. I'm If I throw a party, it's not creative at all. I'm gonna have a bunch of pizza and some pop. That's about it. But when it comes to creating solutions for issues, I'm very creative. I heard a story today. It was a really cool story. For example, there was a small town where a lot of the bands in the town that were, dropping their new CDs and doing concerts and doing things, they were leaving their flyers everywhere, just kind of paper in the town with their flyers. And of course, the city deemed it to be garbage. And so it was everywhere, easy to put up, but it cost a lot of time and money to take down. And the city council would meet up to say, what can we do to stop these guys? And they were creating fines and making it illegal, and it just didn't work. Nothing worked. And somebody had the idea to take a rubber stamp that said canceled. And every time they came across those flyers, they would stamp canceled on the flyers. And of course, the bands couldn't have people thinking that their event was canceled. It was the coolest thing in the world. I mean, I guess it wasn't cool for the band members, but um, all of the people, the rappers, the band members, the people doing stuff, the plays, they would just stamp cancel on all the flyers, no matter where they were. And the band, the bands, the artists couldn't afford to have people thinking that their event was canceled. So the people who put them up started taking them down for city council. You know what I mean? It was a creative way to solve the problem. After they said a couple weeks, they just stopped putting them up. Problem fixed. That's a creative problem solver. And so you got to be creative when it comes to solving your financial problems. You have to have more creativity than get a second job. That can't be the epitome of your creativity. It has to be more creativity than I know what I'll do. I'll go get another degree. That can't be where your creativity stops. Or even I know I'll go ask for a raise. If that's the crux of your creativity, then you're not going to get where you need to go financially. So, anyways, we talked a little bit about that on the last one. So go check it out if you want to. It's on YouTube and it's on here. But the next thing is recognize your own cultural biases where money is concerned. This part I think is really hard for people. I do a lot of money teaching now, a lot of investing teaching. My wife and I do it together now. It's really cool. One of the things that she always says is you have to be mentally flexible. And most people are just not mentally flexible where money is concerned. They're not. I can show them statistic after statistic that says that the average person, when they retire, won't have enough money to retire and stay retired for longer than 6 years, and they won't do anything about it. I don't know why. I can show them that getting a second degree or even the first degree, I forget what the percentage is, but the average person that has a college degree works in a field that doesn't require a degree at all, or they work in a different field. I can show parents that statistic till I'm blue in the face, and yet they still send their kids off to college as the only means to being successful. And and for some reason you don't understand your culture. You've been taught to think that the only way to make money is trade an hour for $1. That's what you've been taught to think. That's a cultural bias. You've been taught to think that the only way to be successful is to go to college and get a good job. That's what you've been taught to think. You've been taught to think that your 401k is the end all be all to being able to retire. And it isn't. I can show you statistic after statistic. The average retirement doesn't even have $300,000 cash in it. And even if it does have 300 grand, 400 grand in it, when you retire at 65 or whatever, that's only living a life for 5 to 6.5 years at about a $60,000 a year distribution to yourself. And then you have to get another job. I can do the math. I can show you. I can show people, and they still won't abandon their cultural biases. We've been taught we don't discuss money. We don't discuss it. It's a secret. That's a cultural bias. I talk about money all the time. I tell everybody how much I'm making. I tell everybody when I'm in a jam, when we're not making nothing. I don't have a problem telling people we're short right now. The company's is having a problem right now. We're in a jam right now. I don't care. It's not a secret. I talk about it with the kids. We talk about money at the table. We talk about money all the time. It's not a secret. It's not a secret. People knowing how much money you have. Get out of my pockets. I get what you're saying, but I can tell you this. And again, I'm about to share something, and hopefully it gets you out of your cultural bias. The average millionaire that I know, that I'm blessed to hang out with. I'm not a millionaire yet. We did 700 grand last year. The goal is to do over $1 million this year. But the average millionaire I know, they talk about money. They're not afraid of it. They'll tell you what they're making, what they're not making. They'll tell you when times are rough, when times are tough, when times are good. They don't have a problem with it at all. And so I couldn't sometimes get the help I need if I was afraid to talk about it, if I was afraid to share it. Cultural biases that we are to consume things. The commercial that tells you the average consumer, ... Consumer means person that spends what they have. They taught you to think that consumer meant customer. It doesn't mean customer. It means consumer. You consume things. Recognize your cultural biases. You have to. We taught at a church the other day, and one of the examples I used was tithe and offering at churches. And I'm not here to tell you not to tithe or that you should tithe. I'm not going to debate that. So many Christian people debate that. Whatever. I'm not going to debate it with you. What I am going to share with you is the amount of people that come to me and say, Joseph, I tithe every week. Every 2 weeks, I tithe. I tithe like clockwork. I never miss it. I sow offering all the time. I give and I give and I give. I tithe and I tithe and I tithe, and I'm still broke. Well, there's a reason you're still broke, because it's not magic. Even if you wanted to use the Bible for it, when you tithe, when you give, the Bible says that my God shall supply all of my needs according to your riches and glory. Having my needs met, it's a good thing. I don't have to be homeless. I don't have to be hungry. My needs are met. It talks about he will rebuke the devourer for your sake. And so what I tell people is you tithing and your offering takes care of your needs. There's no abundance there. There's no life of abundance there. There's no life of overflow there. Overflow is not magic. Stop it. Pastors teaching people that living in the overflow, that's not magic. That's skillful navigation of your financial systems. You understand that? But your cultural biases told you keep going to the mailbox and hoping a check's there. Keep hoping something magical happens and all your bills are taken care of. So again, when you give to the poor and give to your church and pay your tithe, the Bible does say that it says that the devourer, that word devourer, will be rebuked for your sake. The Bible does say that your needs will be met according to his riches and glory. And I believe that's true. I do believe that's true. Your needs are going to be met. But I had to get to a point where I realized I don't just want my needs met. I want to live in abundance. I want to have more than enough. I taught this thing. I don't know. I might get into it later on, but real quick, my spiritual dad taught me this years ago. You can be in a place of not enough, and some of you know what that's like. We don't have enough. Some of the bills didn't get paid. One of our kids didn't get shoes. We were able to get clothes or school supplies. We couldn't do both. Somebody had to get shoes or we had to get a tire for my wife's car. We couldn't do both. There's just not enough. I've been at not enough. That's where your miracles happen. That's the my God shall supply my needs. That's the devourer being rebuked for your sake. The miracles. I remember a guy came over, a friend of mine. He just knocked on my door one day, say, "Hey, bro, God told me to come over and give you some money." He had no idea I was just stressing about how in the world I was going to get the baby some Pampers. This was, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. That was a miracle. That's my God shall supply my needs. So you can be a not enough. I was in not enough. Miracle after miracle got me through. Then I got to a point where I had just enough money. The bills were paid. Food was in the refrigerator. We had what we need. Kids had shoes. Food was paid for. Rent was paid. Mortgage was paid. Car notes was paid. Insurance paid. Just enough. We had just enough. So we went from not enough to just enough. But there was no extra. We were good. And again, rebuking the devourer for your sake. And my God shall supply all of your needs for according to his riches and glory. It takes care of you when you're not enough, and it gets you to just enough. We got just enough. We're okay. Just enough. Not hungry. And that's a really cool feeling. You can sleep at night a little bit. Just enough. Don't got to worry about begging for extensions and the lights being turned off when we wake up. Just enough. Nothing wrong with just enough. But there's another place called more than enough. Abundance. Jesus said he came to give you life more abundantly to the full, till it overflows, the Amplified Bible says. But having more than enough or abundance. More than enough is where you want to be. And you don't get to more than enough just because you tithe and just because you give offering. You don't get to more than enough there. You get to more than enough because you are a good steward over the money that you have. You get to more than enough because you know how to take the money he gave you and do like the guy with 10 talents and double it. Do like the guy with 2 talents and double it. But most of you, because you're so afraid because of your cultural biases, I'm not investing in nothing. Everything is a scam. That's a cultural bias. So you get your money and you hide it. Now I'm going to go into detail in weeks to come, but you hide it in the ground. You put it under the mattress. You hoard it. And you think that only rich people can love money. I know a lot of poor people that love money. I know a lot of them. They're scared to try anything because they love money. They're so afraid to not have it. Anyways, your cultural biases have you afraid to do anything other than give to church and tithe. And again, you should be giving, you should be sowing, but it takes care of your not enough and it takes care of your just enough. But if you want to get into the place of more than enough, where you got all the bills paid and now you got a couple $100 left over, what am I going to do with that couple $100? Am I going to invest it somewhere to have it make me money? Am I going to sow into people who are less fortunate than I am, which is a good thing to do too? But when you're moving money around from in the just enough space, it requires some skill and some talent. Because if you don't have that skill and talent, you'll never go from more than enough to wealth and riches. And you surely won't get to generational wealth and riches, because we love to talk about how the love of money is the root of all evil. But what about the verse that says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children? And before you get all spooky and dooky on me, that inheritance is not talking spiritual. It's money. It's stuff. So you love to run around talking about how the love of money is the root of all evil. But what about a good man leaves an inheritance to his grandchildren? What are you leaving them? What are you doing with your money? Are you doing anything with it? Or are you letting your cultural biases make you afraid? I was afraid of money. I was taught not to talk about it. I was taught that we couldn't share how much we made. I was taught to hide it. I was taught not to go get it, not to chase it, not to sell stuff. Crooks sell stuff. Quit selling everything. That was a cultural bias I was taught. And it was wrong. Because there's another verse that says that money answers all things. Money answers all things. And I want to say, I don't understand why people get so scared when they're talking about money. They get terrified. They don't want to hear what I'm saying. They don't want to hear what anybody talking about money is saying. It messes with your core self, especially if you were poor or lower middle class. Upper middle class, they do a little bit more investing. A little bit more investing they do. But poor people, lower middle class people, they get stuck. They're afraid. They're terrified. They're scared. This kind of talk makes their spirit hurt, makes their spirit itch. They don't like it. It starts to make them feel bad because they don't want to abandon their cultural biases. They don't want to abandon those. But everything I just said is Bible. It's biblical. So yeah, the Bible does say the love of money is the root of all evil. But it also says money answers all things. It says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his grandchildren. Are you doing that while you're running around screaming that all these rich people are shady? What are you doing? What are you doing with your extra money? Do you even have any extra money? Because if you don't, that's an indicator that you don't know what you're doing with money. And that means that you're not a good steward or over your money. You've been taught, again, cultural bias. You've been taught that the only way to be a good steward over your money is to make sure you're putting it in church. No, ma'am. No, sir. There is an amount that needs to go into church. There is an amount that needs to go into serving in your community. There is an amount that needs to go to the homeless guy at the corner. There is an amount that needs to go to the single mama who can't pay for Pampers or Christmas. There is an amount that needs to go into other people. But if you don't know what to do with the extra in the secular space, where to invest it, where to put it, what to buy, what not to buy, it's wild. Do you know this, ladies and gentlemen? Again, cultural biases. The average millionaire only drives a car about 8% of his income. And I watch people making 80 grand a year, 100 grand a year, 120 grand a year. Their car costs $60,000. 65 grand, 50 grand. You're driving a car that's half of your yearly income. Are you crazy? You're never going to get to more than enough. You're never going to get to wealth and riches, and you surely won't get to generational wealth and riches. Ladies and gentlemen, we have to do something different. We have to get rid of our cultural biases. I'm talking about the cultural biases that came from the poor people we grew up around, the cultural biases that came from the middle class Americans that we grew up around. In the middle class, I heard something this week and it really made sense to me. He said the middle class are really poor too. They let debt make them think they can afford a life they can't really afford, which is why the middle class, when they retire, start selling stuff, moving in with the kids, downsizing the house, because they can't afford to keep working at a rate to pay the debt back that made them look like they had it going on. You guys understand that? But that's a cultural bias that taught you to live that way. told you to go to school, get a job, go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a degree, get a job, buy a car and a house. I don't even think the house you live in, not I don't think it, I know it. An asset is something that earns you money. The house you live in is not an asset, it's a liability. But the cultural biases, you got to get past the cultural biases. Get rid of your pride where money is concerned. I'll share this last little bit. There is a verse in the Bible that says, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it comes the issues of life. So the way I make that make sense to me is, Joseph, guard your heart with all diligence, because out of your heart comes your life's issues. Out of my heart comes my issues. You guys, you know that verse. You know the verse. You love to talk about the verses about going to hell and smoking, drinking, and cussing. But what about that verse? Guard your heart with all diligence, because out of your heart comes your life's issues. So when you tell me I'm broke because of the Republicans, no. You're broke because of the issues in your heart. I'm broke because of the Democrats. No, you're broke because of the issues in your heart. I'm broke because of who the president is. No, you're not. You're broke because of the issues in your heart. It's my boss's fault I'm broke. No, it's not. If the issues in your heart is why you're broke. If your issue is money, see, listen carefully. Guard your heart with all diligence, because out of your heart comes your life's issues. Out of your heart comes your life's issues. Is one of your issues money? If one of your issues is money, it comes out of your heart. I don't have time to go into why and how that works, but just know it's true. Do you believe what the Bible says? You say you do when it's about condemning other people. But do you believe it's true now? Out of your heart comes your issues. So if you have money issues, that comes out of your heart because of what you let go in your heart. It's not your boss's fault that you have money issues. It's not your kid's fault that you have money issues. It's not because you don't get a raise. That job, no. Your money issues comes out of your heart. Guard your heart with all diligence, because out of your heart comes your issues. If it's one of your issues, like my daughter's, she loves to say, I have an issue with my sister. She does this. No, your sister isn't your issue. Your issue is coming out of your heart. And so I don't let her blame her sister for her issues. Your issues come out of your heart. And whatever is in your heart is because you let it go in your heart. That's your cultural biases, ladies and gentlemen. People don't like to hear this kind of stuff, but it's a fact. Guard your heart, because out of your heart comes your issues. If you have money issues, it comes out of your heart. The Bible says it comes out of your heart, not somebody else's fault. It's people get mad at their kids for begging for stuff. It's not your kid's fault that you're broke. Quit putting that pressure on them. Stop asking for stuff. It ain't their fault that their mama's broke, that their daddy's broke. They want stuff. They're going to beg for stuff. They're going to see commercials and want stuff. That's just life. You can tell them stuff like, hey, if you want that, baby, let's figure out a way to earn it. You can say a whole lot more things than throwing the pressure on them that you're broke. So again, guard your heart, because out of your heart comes your issues. Your financial issues come out of your heart. You got to settle in that. It's nobody else's fault but yours. Somebody else's responsibility but yours. Your decisions, your choices that were born, your decisions and choices that were born out of what's in your heart. What's in your heart is how you act, how you behave, how you see, what you say. Out of your heart comes your stuff, and your stuff creates your issues. How did it get in your heart? Your cultural biases. It got in your heart from your mama. It got in your heart from your daddy. It got in your heart from what they told you, how money. It got in your heart from all that cultural bias nonsense that's got you stuck in poverty. That's got you stuck in issues. You can fight me if you want to. It's up to you. But for y'all who are listening, God bless you. God bless you. Look at your own life and say, you know what, God, I am having money issues. And according to the word of God, those money issues come out in my heart because of what's in my heart concerning money. You guys get that? Anyways, I'm finished a little earlier than what I normally am. I'm usually rushing toward the end. Got about 5 more minutes. So for all of you guys who listen to the end, don't forget that we have a new fund that's going to be available until December. Cornerstone Group Financial is a private equity company, and we have created investments for the middle class guy, for the guy who has a couple of $1,000s that's sitting there not making him any money. And again, that's a whole nother education. One of my mentors used to say, I hate sitting my money in the bank. I'm losing money when my money is in the bank. I finally understand what he means. And if you want to understand what he means, give me a call, reach out, DM. I'll let you know what it means, what he's talked about. But your money should be making money for you. And again, as we teach this whole thing, I'm saying this whole thing because I have my notes right here on the computer screen. We'll go over that stuff too. But anyways, don't forget Saturday we have a free investor luncheon and meetup. You're going to be in a room with other investors and other business owners who get together and just make money together. Imagine being in a room and being able to say, hey, how can we make money together, guys? And they have ideas. You get together, you make money. More successful together. When I bought my salon, I didn't buy it alone. I reached out to my homeboy who owns, and I met him at one of our meetings. He owns a barbershop. I said, hey, I want to buy this salon. It's available. Look at it with me. He said, oh, this is a great deal. We came together. We bought it. I just bought a video game tournament company in St. John's, Florida here. I met with a guy. It made sense. I got with my son. I got with another young man, and we bought it. More successful together. So if you're tired of playing games with your money, tired of blaming other people, come out. It's free. We're gonna have fun. I'll put the link from Eventbrite. I'll put it on the Facebook page. And I like to put the cool stuff at the end. My spiritual dad taught me that because only the people that hang in to the end deserve to get the good stuff. So we have a situation with our fund that you can double your money in 12 months, and it's secure. So let me know if you want more information about that. And then Saturday, people from all over Florida coming together at the Golf and Country Club in Fleming Island, Saturday at 11:30 to eat a little lunch and just talk money together. That's it. You don't have to buy anything. You get to be in a room with people who make money, and maybe you'll meet somebody who you can rock with, who you can partner with, and do something really cool with your money. Anyways, God bless you. I appreciate your time and attention. And one of the things I like to tell people at the end of every teaching that I do, especially when I'm in public and I'm on stage, is drive fast and take chances. God bless y'all.